This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's episode 1216, and it's the Relevant Podcast. Welcome to December, everybody. Here in Orlando, I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia is Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
And from Nashville, our managing editor downtown, Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
Hey. The guys are still on break. They'll be on the next show. Well, welcome back. We're recording right after Thanksgiving weekend, and everybody's listening to this on Tuesday. Did you guys have a good break?
I had a great Thanksgiving.
She went to Arkansas and spent time in a lot of mobile homes there.
Okay, they
moved them from home.
They're permanent because they took the wheels off. Okay,
got it. Okay.
But yes,
prefab.
She also they sent. Tell Jesse. Tell me if you're surprised at this fact that they sent her home to drive 6 hours.
Okay.
With a bunch of meat in the back seat. She has a bunch of deer meat.
That's unsurprising and also a delight. This is your family we're talking about here, Emily?
Yeah. I have a couple. Most of my family's in Texas. I have a few aunts and uncles and cousins in Arkansas. And since I'm in Tennessee, I told my parents this year, like, I'm not driving all the way to Texas.
Yeah.
So I drove 6 hours instead to Arkansas. And it was a great time. Yeah. But Thanksgiving morning, my little cousin went out hunting and shot a deer and then came back and, you know, we divvied up the deer.
Carved it up.
Yeah, between
that's
my
pretty
family
impressive that he was able to field dress and clean that, because that's all process. Like if you take it to...
So let me clarify. He's 17 years old. He's been doing this his whole life. So that is the Arkansas way. This is just normal. What was really funny, though, was watching my nephew and nieces who live in Dallas, very much city kids, watching them experience what's it like to turn a dead animal into a meal.
Food, yeah.
Little traumatizing, but I think they're better for it. So
yeah, it's probably good for them to see, because I think we are painfully detached from the process of understanding, you know, how living creatures are now, you know, we purchase wrapped in cellophane in the grocery store and casually, like, you know, heat in the stove. So it's probably good for them, even though it's horrific and traumatizing.
Yes, I say.
To see something that was hours ago frolicking nervously through the forest,
the yard.
Well, my youngest
past
niece
the house
was really confused because when we said, like, you know, he's bringing back this deer, she thought it was going to be alive. So then we had to explain, like, oh, it's not going to be alive, sweetie. And then my nephew, who's almost 7, he did not want to see it at all. Now, my 5-year-old niece, she's kind of the morbid one. She was very interested in the process. I am a little concerned about her future, but she seemed to have a fun time watching it.
Like I said, I'm not a hunter, but I do know a lot of people who are, and I have come to appreciate what hunters appreciate, which is, there should be some sort of reverential relationship we have with our food, particularly food that was once walking around on 4 legs. Like that was a living thing.
Yeah, about 2 hours ago. Yeah,
that you know what I mean. But we can. There's a whole digression into the ethics of meat consumption, but that deer lived a happy, free life, where a lot of the animals that we consume, were born and raised in probably conditions that we're blissfully ignorant of, But either way, how much meat we talking that you came home with? Let's change the topic from something less uncomfortable for us and everyone else listening.
I did have to get like a small to medium size ice chest. So a decent amount. I had to move some stuff around in my freezer. It was really concerning though, driving back, because I just have the ice chest next to me in the passenger seat. And I did have this thought of like, man, if I get pulled over and they're like, what's in this ice chest? I mean, I'm just going to say deer meat. It's nothing crazy, but it's just like, are they going to believe me when I say it's deer meat?
You were driving from Arkansas to Nashville. They would get it. They believe you. That checks out. That's
exactly.
No concern at all. We're actually surprised when we pull someone over and there is no fresh game in the car.
Emily, do you actually eat deer meat? Like, I don't know that I've ever eaten venison.
I love deer meat. Oh, it's my favorite, honestly. Like, it's so good.
Why? Is it spicy? Is it gamey?
Gamey.
Like
It's gamey, yeah. I mean, it depends on how you make it. You can have it a couple different ways. The easiest way is kind of make it like a chicken fried steak. But so it's just gamey chicken fried steak.
why not just have? Why do you like that better than regular chicken fried steak? Like,
if you haven't had it, it's hard to explain. It does taste better. That's all I can
all right.
say.
Well, I had a different kind of meat story on my Thanksgiving.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
So professionally,
I did want to know where your eyebrows went, so I'm glad that we're talking about this.
professionally, you guys, we know each other pretty well. I'm an over preparer. Like, I like to be prepared for stuff. 2 is 1, 1 is none. Like, I like to test stuff. I like to, if I'm going in, Cameron, we've done how many live interviews? I always have a recorder and a phone and maybe even a third recorder. Like, I am terrified of things not getting recorded. I always like to have backups, right? I always test things. Personally, that does not translate. And so I had quite a number of people coming into town, staying at my house, right? And then more people coming over on Thanksgiving Day. I had some neighbors were eating dinner at our house. My wife's family, people in from Florida, family members from around town. It was a very full house, okay? And Dana, my wife, worked very hard in the weeks leading up to this to make sure everything was going to go off flawlessly. My job was singular. Fry the turkey, okay? The turkey was acquired. I have a turkey fryer. Now, here's the thing. I hadn't used a turkey fryer in several years, okay? But it's a pretty basic piece of equipment.
It's a pot.
It's a pot on a propane burner, right?
Yeah.
And so, Thanksgiving Day, but I'll say this, I didn't even take it out of the shed. I was just going to worry about that day off,
Oh, no.
And so
did you check that you actually had propane at least?
I did check to see if I had propane, and we had just enough oil for one turkey, right? Because you need, oil's not cheap. And so there was no need to have extra. I mean, you could just have extra in case you want to use it, but we had just enough. So I'm preparing. I go out in the backyard and it's raining. So I have a little tent set up, right? And so I'm under the tent and I'm getting everything set up because I'm trying to back into the time. When is it going to be fresh out of the turkey fry pot? So I go ahead and pour the oil into the pot just to make sure we got enough. Not that anything's open, so it doesn't matter. So I go out there like an hour later and I'm ready to get this whole operation going. And there's no oil in the pot. There's no, the cooking oil, the pot was empty. And this is all the oil we have. That's when I noted, and I went inside. I'm like, did someone dump the oil? And they're like, no one's messed with anything. I don't know what happened, if there was some deterioration or if I had stored it or if it got, something fell on it. There were small little cracks in the bottom of the pot that I could not see. And all the oil was out. So I have no pot, no oil, and people coming over a lot of people coming over, and we got a raw turkey. Okay. So I'm in emergency mode here. I mean, everybody is very concerned and freaking out at this point. So I get in the car and they're like, where are you going? And I had nothing to tell them. Like, my job was to drive around aimlessly until I found somewhere where I could acquire the items at lunchtime on Thanksgiving Day. I ended up finding at a one grocery store open. I was able to get the oil. You know where it was open on Thanksgiving Day? Where no hardware store, no Lowe's, Home Depot. I ended up at a Big Lots. And I'll tell you this, Big Lots is doing a lot of business on Thanksgiving Day. Are you guys familiar with Big Lots?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean they're doing business on Thanksgiving Day?
It was packed.
It's the only place open.
Yeah, but they're not selling Thanksgiving. It was just like people buying like random Big Lots stuff, I found a pot there. It was far too small. I found that out after the purchase. I was just literally aimlessly driving streets looking for a pot here. Thankfully, the guy who lives behind me, he actually bought 2 turkey frying kits this year for this very reason. He was worried that one could possibly break. I was able to acquire the pot, and I had to express fry. I had to get that stuff heated really quick. We had a little incident with some flames jumping out. But overall, we're able to make it happen. But I'm telling you guys, it was the most stressed I've been in years. Do you know what it's like to have one job on Thanksgiving? And that is just to cook the turkey. Everyone else has done everything. and it's solely your fault that this isn't being cooked. Like, it was bad. It was not a great feeling, but we ended up getting the turkey about an hour later than planned, but it all worked out.
I went to a restaurant, so
where'd you go? What restaurant?
Well, normally it's a high-end restaurant, but those were all booked up. My mom saw that they were doing a traditional Thanksgiving menu at Bahama Breeze, of all places. So we went to Bahama Breeze, and my parents and everybody got the turkey dinner and stuff. And I was like, but I can order off the menu too, right? So Cohen got ribs and I got a steak. It was great.
Wait, Bahama Breeze?
Bahama Breeze did a traditional Thanksgiving meal. Yeah.
Did you have a little empathy?
It was packed.
Did you have a little bit of empathy for the people, like the wait staff of Bahama? They're in their Hawaiian shirts, I assume.
Yeah, they were.
Jimmy Buffett is playing. There's not like holiday tunes. People are ordering like pineapple grilled chicken sandwiches.
You're making jokes, but like they were playing island music, like stuff you hear on a cruise, like the little like steel drum music and stuff like that. That was being played over.
Serving Mai Tais on Thanksgiving Day.
Absolutely, people were having daiquiris all around us, not at our table.
Did it feel just like a little weird? Like
it's totally weird, but hey, whatever. Yeah. We're at the point in our lives where my mom decided 4 or 5 years ago, I'm done. Like, I'm not going to do this big production anymore. Cameron, you're the next generation. It's officially your job now.
You didn't want to take the crown?
You said, let's go to Bahama Breeze.
No. Hold on. I did. Okay, so the first year, Fleming's. I don't know if you guys have Fleming's. It's a high-end, like Ruth's Chris type place. Lovely Thanksgiving meal. And then the next 2 years, we did it at my house. And it was fine. It was great. It was no problem. I mean, people brought some dishes. I provided all the turkey and the main stuff. I enjoyed it. And then for some reason this year, I didn't initiate and nobody asked me. And so it was like a week before Thanksgiving. And my mom's all stressed out trying to look for reservations somewhere because I never stepped up and invited everybody to Thanksgiving dinner. So I think I'm the reason we ended up at Bahama Breeze now that I'm saying it out loud. But I just thought it was something my parents wanted to do this year, but I'm thinking it's because I didn't step up is probably why.
Yeah,
oh, well.
I'm assuming they didn't picture their Thanksgiving in a strip mall. But like at a strip mall, ironically, in the same parking lot as a Big Lots.
It's in the mall parking lot, but it was a freestanding restaurant. Thank you very much.
Bahama Breeze and Big Lots. This is a big day in those worlds.
No, literally, it's like a Darden strip. It was like a Bahama Breeze. There's a Seasons 52. There's an Olive Garden, all like in a row. But yeah.
See, Bahama Breeze is for the people at a phase of life where it's the awkward Thanksgiving handoff that was fumbled. You know what I mean? Like your parents are the quarterback taking the snap, running the read option. Is it going to be Chandler? Is it going to be Cameron? Who's taking it? Oh, they read Cameron and he fumbles it. Thanksgiving Day. That's Bahama.
I didn't know you were calling the play for me. I was blocking. Yeah.
Well, anyway. But listen, that's what Bahama Breeze for. The Big Lots customers, I don't even think they're aware it's Thanksgiving. I think it's just people at the stage in life.
It's just a Thursday.
They forgot it's even a holiday, and they're just out there buying discount sheets and stuff.
I was kind of people watching of like who chose to come to Bahama Breeze on Thanksgiving,
While you're sitting at Bahama Breeze yourself.
Well, I know the reason I ended up there, but I mean... It's the only place that had enough seats and the reservations available. But it was full, and it was a lot of you could just tell it was a lot of people that didn't have extended family in town. So like it was just like either a couple, groups of older friends or like a younger couple that didn't have kids or something. That's like, well, good for these restaurants, helping people
who does have extended family? That poor kid bussing tables at Bahama Breeze at 4:30 on Thanksgiving afternoon. They're like, hey, where's Johnny this year? Oh, he's cleaning up some rib scraps down by the mall.
First of all, there were 6 of us, aunt and uncle, me or 7 of us. And my dad picked up the check and he tips generously.
He should.
But my mom, who was sitting next to me on the other end of the table, was concerned he wouldn't tip enough for exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Our server giving up time. So she pulls the server aside and says, hey, I just want to thank you for coming in and helping out families like us today. Here's an extra 50 on top of whatever he tipped you. Yeah. And so she goes, oh my goodness, thank you so much. I don't have any extended family in town. So I was happy to work and like be with people on Thanksgiving versus sit in my apartment alone. So she actually enjoyed the fact that she got to work, and all of us felt really bad and over tipped. So she had a fine day.
So your mom was like, "Oh, in that case, I'll take that 50."
Yeah, I'll take that back. You're happy to be here? Never mind. This is a pity 50.
I got to pop in Big Lots on the way home. So
I'll be honest,
that goes a long way there.
When my brother worked at like California Pizza Kitchen or like Buca de Beppo, like he worked at restaurants, he liked picking up the holiday shift because of that reason, because people would feel bad about it. So he would get so many extra tips for it. And so like
Chili's on Thanksgiving night, it is slammed and they are making money. I love to work in Chili's.
Yeah, because people feel bad about it. But we would literally accommodate it and be like, okay, well, we'll eat lunch earlier if you're going to go work the dinner shift. So that way, and then you'll get us nice presents for Christmas. So it's kind of a win-win for all of us.
All right. Well, Thanksgiving's behind us. It's now officially Christmas season. So you can listen to Christmas music now without guilt or people guilting you.
We talked about it last time. I had put my Christmas tree up last week before Thanksgiving, and I was like weirdly anxious about it because I've never done it before. Now I don't care about my Christmas tree being up.
Fully Christmas time. All right. We have a great show in store for you. Mark Batterson joins us. Also, we have at the end of the show a Would You Rather Christmas edition game. But stay tuned after this break. It's Slices. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold. Okay, it's time for Slices. What do you have, Jesse?
First off, are either of you guys consider yourselves gamers at all at any capacity?
I play phone games a lot, like mini motorways, little puzzle games.
But not I'm talking console.
No, I don't do console gaming at all, but I am always phone gaming, like kind of mindlessly playing Sudoku while I'm watching TV or something.
Emily, what about you? Do you consider yourself a gamer?
I am not. In middle school, I was briefly really into Wii whenever it came out, but ever since then, not really.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a gamer, but my son is at the age where he wants to get a gaming system, and we've never had one. I had like the preloaded little retro Nintendo, which was fun.
It shocked me that you guys haven't had a gaming system up to this point.
It's just not something that was on our radar, but now all his buddies play like Madden and stuff, and he wants to get something. So I've been doing some research and figuring out maybe what Santa Claus could swing this year. And I came across a product that, it's, I guess it's the big decision is like, are we talking PS5 or are we talking Xbox here? Right. The PS5, it's an expensive item. And so you really want to get your money's worth. That's why I'm leaning that way, because Pizza Hut just announced a new product that they have designed. It is something that is designed. It's called Pizza WRMR. Pizza warmer, and it is a little kind of aluminum device that fits on top of the PS5, and it will it'll keep your pizza warm while you game using the heat from the PS5. Now, this product isn't for sale yet. You can download.
Jesse, I've seen pictures of this, and this is what I don't understand. This is just setting your slice of pizza on top of your PS5. That's all it is.
Exactly. And that's why I love the people at Pizza Hut, because they pizza's a competitive market these days. And and Papa John's, or Domino's, Domino's went all in on, you can track the whole pizza process on the app. I don't know if you guys have ordered Domino's lately. It's fantastic, right? You can see when they're making it. You can see, when they're putting toppings on, you can see where the delivery driver is all the way to your door. It's great. Right?
Hold on. You know that's all fake, right? Other than the delivery part.
Doesn't matter.
Because Papa John's has the same thing. It's based on a timeline from your order, like it's an average timeline, and then but they found that people think that it's a live look-in, and it gets them more engaged, more likely to buy more pizza. So
it doesn't matter. I don't care. I like it. So it's like one time I was picking up like an appliance from Sears. Okay, and they had
have Sears.
I think it was a Sears. I think it was it's now out of business.
Okay, so it's a Sears.
It's actually, what's funny? This is a whole digression. I don't know what we're doing here, guys. But what was funny, what happened to the old Sears is a place went in that's called Decisions. Okay, it just says in big letters Decisions on the outside of it, right? And I'm like, dude, what is this place about? Is this a place that you just walk in and there's all these desks there? That's how I picture it in my mind. And you're like, look, I got this new job offer and I'm really weighing one way or the other, or, it could be a minor decision. It could be, I'm thinking of either hosting Thanksgiving or going to Bahama Breeze. And there are decision consultants there and you pay them and they just help you make a decision. Come to find out, that's not what it is. They just took over the lease of an old Sears and made it an office for an IT company. But it gave me an idea to have a decision-making company. And I've actually thought about it quite a bit. If you're stuck and needed, I don't want it to be a phone or Zoom thing. I want you to go there and sit face-to-face and talk about your quandary with a decision consultant, and we help you come to it. We can make lists. We can, just kind of round table it with my fellow decision makers, but it gave me an idea for decisions because
it's magic 8 ball. It's just literally
that'll be on one of the desks. That'll be on one of the desks.
Magic 8. That's all that's there. There's not a human, just a magic 8 ball.
Cast lots.
Honestly, this could be a good business idea though, because the amount of people that are so indecisive and generally just want someone else to make a decision, there could be something here. We'll Tank this.
I think it's a great idea. But anyway, I was at the Sears a long time ago, and I was purchasing an appliance. This is before it was Decisions. So I purchased like an appliance there. And you go and you sit in the waiting, like you go in the store and purchase it. And they're like, all right, go around back, and they'll bring it out. They'll wheel it out, and they'll help you load it up. So you go in this waiting area with other people who had purchased, large items. And there's a screen, and it has a timer. And it has how long till the item comes out with your name beside it. And I can see I've been there for like 5 minutes, right? As soon as it hit 7, someone came out, they manually stopped it, and I waited there for another 10 minutes. They're rigging the system, rigging it right in front of me.
That's the story.
I'm like, you just stopped the timer. And they're like, we got to keep it under 7, but it's coming. It's on its way out. I'm like, but it's not here. I mean, who am I going to report this to? You know what I mean? Maybe that's why Sears went out of business. Dishonest practices like that. Maybe that's why it's a Decisions now. Either way. So you're telling me that's the same thing as happening on the app.
Yes, it is. Except there's no person hitting start and stop. It literally is just a timer that's a general guide.
Still dishonest, but how long it takes. It's a delightful experience. So Domino's has that. Papa John's has those little peppers they put in the box, which sometimes that's enough for me to go Papa John's. They're the only ones. Take a bite of those before a slice, and it's a little zip. You guys know what I'm talking about.
No, I know.
They have a little dipping sauce, a little garlic sauce, and a little jalapeno. I've never eaten them either. To me, it's just like parsley.
Well, here's the thing. They're getting elbowed out because Domino's has a cool technology app.
Papa John's does too. Open the Papa John's app.
Papa John's has little peppers they put in the box. Pizza Hut's thinking, how are we going to get back in the game here? What is going to make people order from us? I know, a gimmicky device that you keep hot, greasy pizza on top of a $600 delicate piece of electronics equipment that has specific ventilation built into it so it does not overheat after excessive usage.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great idea. We'll figure out how to put hot, greasy pizza on there. No one is going to use this for its intended purposes. Not one person.
Of course not.
But I just like that Pizza Hut's like, we used to sell pizza on the merit of our pizza. We had sweet buffets, and we had those little red, transparent ruby cups that everybody likes. You know what I'm talking about? There's no more satisfying sound and some crushed ice hitting the bottom of one of those cups before you run it through the garden on the fountain machine. Okay. Yeah. That's Pizza Hut had it, and it slipped right through their fingers. Now they're resorting to gimmicks, but I like that they're just trying stuff. There's no way anyone's going to use it, but we're talking about it. It's funny.
They're bringing back the kind of 80s and 90s dining room as well in select locations. Good. And they're reopening the Pizza Hut buffet in a lot of stores. So they're going back to that thing that we all miss of like after Little League game or like, Friday night with the family, going to Pizza Hut buffet, going and swinging by the Blockbuster on the way home. They're bringing it back. The nostalgia market is big right now. So
well, maybe that explains why the Noid should be coming back. Remember the Noid?
Oh, yeah. Domino's. Yes. We talked about this in the last year, Emily.
Y'all told me about this on the show, and it is the most like terrifying little creature.
You're supposed to avoid the Noid.
Yeah. And I want to avoid the Noid by like not even seeing it ever.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it was a great there was a Noid video game at one point. That's how big the Noid was. He had his own, ironically, video game. I don't know how many levels it was. I think I remember renting it for an old Nintendo when I was a kid and being pretty disappointed.
Maybe they'll come up with a PS5 version that you can play while your pizza's being heated up.
If I'm recalling it right, it was like a side scroller, like all those old Nintendo games, and it looked like they just repurposed some like Japanese game and just inserted the Noid, and the levels had nothing to do with pizza. It was just the Noid going through like a little Japanese adventure game, But either way,
speaking of games, I'm not a gamer at all. But 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, a friend of mine that I saw recently, hadn't seen in forever. I saw him when I was traveling, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to be in Orlando next week." And I was like, "Oh yeah, what for?" And he's like a former Imagineer. He like runs a big kind of like spatial design company and stuff. And he designs everything from cities to theme parks he's doing amazing stuff around the globe. And he's like, "I'll be in town for IAAPA, which is the International Association, like attractions and amusement attractions professional association or something like that. It's the global convention where the people who make rides and build experiences come, and like the brand new ride tech is on display. You can test it out, but you can like go around and like so he got me passes for me and Cohen to go one afternoon, and I didn't even run into him. We were just like walking around like behind the veil of like, if you've ever been to a theme park or a Dave & Buster's or something like that, this is the origin story for all those places. So it was really cool. So on one side of the room was everything has been, normal as blow up inflatable, like floating amusement parks, water parks, that type thing. We're all there. Rides, you could actually literally like new ride technologies, go-karts, different things were all on display. But over on the left side of the convention was all the Dave & Buster's type stuff, like gaming and, whatever. So we're playing all of them. Jesse, there's this new version of NBA Jam. It's not called NBA Jam. It is everything we loved about NBA Jam times 10. It is. I am not a gamer at all, but it sat there playing this game, this new arcade, whatever, NBA something. It was amazing. I'm very excited about it whenever it comes out. But literally, I'm walking around. I literally talking about old Sears, saying to Cohen, like, we could take over like an old Sears. Yeah. Come spend $250,000 on whatever here. And like you have like you fill up the 2-story Sears with like the world's largest Dave & Buster's type thing. I know that's happening around malls. It happened in some of the ours, but this is where they buy all the stuff. It was this one huge convention. It's really cool.
I'm very interested in playing that because it was maybe last summer before last, where you and I went to like a retro arcade. Do you remember this? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we were like, dude, NBA Jam, we got to play. And you realize, 1, it takes forever. And 2, it's not as fun as you remember back in the day. Right. Do you remember? I think we were playing for like 10 minutes and we're looking at our watches like, All right, let's go with the skee ball here. Let's just abandon this Phoenix Sun Chicago Bulls showdown.
Dude, this new game is everything we loved, but modernized. It's great. So it's got the cartooning over the topness of it, but it's like the gaming experience. The screen is enormous. It's like it's really, really cool. Anyway,
yeah,
I'll find out. I'll send you info on it. But all right, Emily, what do you have?
So I actually want to talk about Denzel Washington for a minute, because I don't know if you guys have seen Gladiator 2 yet. He's definitely the best part in it. But even if you haven't seen it, you've probably seen some of his like interviews from the press tour, and he's absolutely the best part of the whole press tour. Like, he is having the time of his life in interviews, and I'm obsessed with it. There's been a lot of like fun stories that have come out. Like, did y'all see the one about him seeing the face of God?
No.
He was in an interview with a radio host, and he shared this story about how...
Don't make fun of this man's sincere spiritual experience. Emily.
No, I'm not making fun of him. I'm saying,
it's
like,
yes, you are.
Genuinely interesting.
No, it's funny because like this was unprompted. Like, he just wanted to talk about, and like that's what I love about it, is he's just having fun, and like I don't like doesn't necessarily care to talk about the movie, just wants to talk about what he wants to talk about. And he wanted to talk about this time when he was on a boat and he was listening to music that was singing about the face of God, and he told God he wanted to see his face, and then he says he hears a voice saying turn to your left, and he looks, and he said the clouds looked like a face, so he feels like he's seen the face of God, and he like took a picture, showed everyone.
So the story, if you watch the clip, which we actually did post on our website, it's a very moving, sincere, like he's like, it was during his morning devotions, he was worshiping, it was a sincere thing, and then you see the photo. And I'm sorry, it's just the most laughable face of God cloud collection you've ever seen.
It's one of those things where like someone looks at a cloud and is like, oh my gosh, do you see this? And you're like, I can see how you would see that looks like this image in the clouds. That's kind of what it is. But I love that he had that moment where he feels like he got to see the face of God.
Can I be honest? Okay, this is a little hot take here. Okay.
Oh.
Press tours have gotten too nice and too earnest. Okay. We got this face of God story. We've all seen the Wicked stuff where they're holding space for defying gravity. And each interview about this Broadway remake, it turns into, an emotional, human moment with a random stranger who gets 3 minutes with two actors, in a movie. It's too earnest. I want to go back to the time where celebrities were annoyed to be there and watching everyone was super uncomfortable, and they treated interviewers terribly. And it's just a matter of how is this interviewer going to react while some entitled celebrity, clearly demonstrates their disdain for basic publicity questions about this movie. And you as a viewer just get to watch the discomfort unfold from every angle. You're watching from the poor interviewer's angle. You're watching from the celebrity's angle, just like, rage watching. Those were way more fun. Can we just acknowledge that I'm not a terrible person, that I'd rather watch these press junkets ones when the celebrity clearly doesn't want to be there than the ones where they're just too into it.
It is so funny to hear you say that, because earlier this year, there have been like 2 instances of kind of like video or interviews from like 10 or so years ago of actresses like Blake Lively and Anne Hathaway, where they were rude, quote unquote, rude to interviewers. And people are like, see, this is why I don't like this person, because they're mean to people.
I liked it.
But then I watched the video and I'm like, no, actually the interviewer did ask a dumb question. So like they should be rude to them.
But even if the rudeness is unjustified, which I don't think there is justification, it's entertaining. Okay. It actually makes me want to see the movie more. I want to see the movie less when I'm like, oh, are we crying again? What are we doing here? Like,
the thing about the Denzel stuff though, is like, he's actually doing what you want. He, like you said, this whole meat market of these junket days, people don't realize you really do get 3 to 5 minutes max. Yeah. It's just like those celebrities are sitting there for X amount of hours, 2 to 3 hours. And there's a waiting room outside of, journalists. You get 2 questions and you have to make it look like the clip is from you having this long sit down with this celebrity. Mm-hmm. That is not the truth. Here's a question, boom, you're already in it. Well, those celebrities have been sitting there forever. They've been answering the same question again and again and again. People like Denzel, he's not new to this. He knows that it doesn't matter. So he's just like, they can be like, hi, Mr. Washington. your performance in Gladiator was amazing. And he'll be like, I got sober 9 years ago. Like, he's just like, he's not even answering their question.
Yeah.
That's what I love about his, is the most unhinged press tour we've seen in a good amount of time.
Yeah.
And a wonderful counterbalance to the Wicked one, which was just goodness gracious.
But there was one like Jesse Eisenberg who he was promoting like a movie, the Magician movie he was in, where
Now it's like
it's like it's like a heist but with stage magicians, right?
Yeah,
that feels like your ideal movie. Just
it's great.
Yeah.
And like this woman is interviewed, and she seems nice and like young and kind of inexperienced. And at one point, he asked her, "Is your favorite magician Carrot Top?" And she says no. And he goes, "Oh, because you're the Carrot Top of interviewers." And just gets ridiculously mean. And
oh my goodness.
And
So
I mean,
you know what? What has he done since then? He's gotten blacklisted.
But to be
Well, he
honest,
just filmed Now You See Me 3, so.
But to be honest, I'd expected nothing less from him. Like, it's like, no, this is on brand. It made me want to see the movie more because he plays like this, like in every movie, he plays like someone completely emotionally detached. That seems like a very unpleasant person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whether it's Mark Zuckerberg or whatever. And it's like, no, if he was earnest and nice to the interviewers, it kind of ruined the movie for me. I want him to be that guy. I'm sorry. I know. I hope that poor woman has, emotionally recovered from that junket.
The sick burn.
But all these years later, when Jesse Eisenberg has a movie coming out, I'm like, well, the very least, it's going to be interesting because that guy's a psycho.
So Denzel, getting back on her place,
Sorry.
I know where you're going with it. Denzel, he did the Face of God thing, which went went viral, but then he actually started going, I just want to talk about important topics and not about Gladiator 2. I don't think he answered any questions about Gladiator 2. He just opened up and like did a deep dive of therapy and healing.
The only one I've seen where he really talks about it, and it to your point, Jesse, it is just funny. There's an interviewer who had spoken to a lot of the different actors in the movie and asked like, of your castmates, like who was someone that you just were excited to work with, something like that, or who are you watching? And a lot of people said Denzel. And when she asked Denzel that, he was like, I don't have time to watch other people. I got a job to do. Like, he just kind of like answered it, but he was being so serious where he's like, I'm not watching other people. Like, it's like, well, yeah, he's Denzel Washington. Like, he's not learning from other actors at this point. He is the actor to learn from. Like, I just kind of love that he's like, I know who I am. It's my world and we're living in it.
The only better answer to that is, it's funny you asked me that question because a few years ago, my wife and I were having some marriage issues, and I'd like to talk about them right now. Like, I like the idea that he just ignores the questions and gets super personal.
No, he did. Like, talk about the one about his sobriety, Emily. Like, he really did open up, like repeatedly opened up about his like sobriety journey.
Yeah. He's talked about his sobriety, I think in a few interviews now. But he's celebrating 10 years this year, and he talked about how like genuinely it was really damaging, and he was drinking like 2 bottles of wine a day, like just getting really specific about his addiction. And now he feels like he's living his life finally at like almost 70. Like he just opened up about this whole sobriety journey. And I'm like imagining the interviewer sitting there being like, so Gladiator 2. Like it's just
like that's what, like he was telling this one story about like how every day he would call down to their local liquor store and he would say, I want 2 bottles of your best whatever. And his wife overheard him saying, why do you always order 2 bottles? And he said something like, if I order more than that, I know I'll drink more than that. So I have to just order the 2 at a time. And he's like, looking back, I probably wasted a lot of money not buying in bulk. He did like all this kind of stuff. But like, imagine the interviewer just here to do a promo for Gladiator. And he's opening up about his wine cellar and how he got a $70,000 wine or whatever, 700 bottle wine because he was going to have tastings. But then it ended up just being he'd go down there and drink by himself. And like this poor interviewer. Yeah. But it was a beautiful, open hearted thing that he was sharing.
I've been in a junket interview where I asked someone a question. They answered it in a way I was not prepared for. And I only have like 5 minutes with them. So you're like, do I keep going with this line of questioning? Do I go back to what I was going to talk about? Like, it is stressful for the interviewer, but it is so funny to like see the final project and be like, okay, well, I don't know how we got here, but this is all the time I had with you. Like, it's just funny.
I've been on the other side and was treated poorly by a notable figure at a junket and in front of the whole room acted like my question was stupid, And I was like, no, but that's
Are you talking about Hannibal Buress?
No, this was.
This is a different time.
It was. Hold on, I forget his name. Let me.
Mine was
off camera. What's Larry David's manager in Curb?
His manager, Jeff Goldblum.
Garland. It was Jeff
Garland.
Yeah, he treated me like such an idiot in front of a whole room. And you know what? I didn't really mind it because I'm like, that's kind of on brand. Like what I would expect from Jeff Garland. Like he's going to suffer no dumb questions. Like he clearly just does not care. And I appreciated that about him. You know, I have no ill will against Jeff Garland in the moment. I was embarrassed, but at the same time, I'm like, you know, now when I watch Curb, I'm like, oh, I get it. He, you know, he's that guy.
He's a curmudgeon.
You know, yeah, exactly. That's the whole character. You know, I appreciated it.
I wish I had someone who'd been rude to me because I've had people ask me who's like the meanest or rudest celebrity I've ever interviewed. And they've all been really nice to me, which is like on one hand is good. But I'm also like, it would be kind of fun to have like a story to share.
Emily, who would get on an interview with you and be rude to you? I mean, you're like the nicest interviewer ever.
Thank you. I was setting y'all up for compliments.
Jesse, on the other hand,
yes,
he had it coming. You know,
I really did. I was told specifically not to ask something, but I felt like journalistically it was unethical not to ask it, and I never agreed to. And I asked it, and this celebrity got very offended and shut down the interview immediately and was very awkward. And, now
you are talking about Hannibal Buress.
No shade on that guy. I was told not to ask a question, but that's not how this business works. Okay. I'm sorry. We're journalists here. I'm not doing free promo for the movie.
I have had publicists tell me like not ask about certain things, and then it's like you shouldn't have told me that because now that's all I want to ask about.
No, that's all I want to ask about.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do it for
Slices.
Stay tuned. Up next, after this break, Mark Batterson joins us.
That interviewer's like, sweet. I actually had a lot of wine cellar questions queued up. This is perfect.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times bestselling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold. Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose the Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold. Well, our guest today is Mark Batterson. He serves as the lead pastor for National Community Church in D.C. He's a best-selling author of over 20 books, including The Circle Maker, Win the Day, and his most recent one, A Million Little Miracles. He spoke to us about recapturing our wonder and awe of God, like seeing his face in the sky, and the power that comes from looking for small miracles. Here's our conversation with Mark.
In your book, you write that the biggest problem today is our small view of God. And why, of all things, do you think that's our biggest problem?
Well, in the beginning, God created us in His image. We've been creating God in our image ever since. And so what happens is we begin to project our history, our personality, our ethnicity, maybe our politics onto God. But the problem with that is this: you end up with a God who looks like you, thinks like you, and that God cannot amaze you, surprise you, transcend you, overwhelm you. And so I would just remind us that God doesn't exist within the four dimensions of space-time He created. God exists outside of time, outside of space. He's here, there, and everywhere. There is no past, present, or future. And so what happens, I think, is either we create God in our image and we end up with a God lowercase g that we can kind of manage, or even better, micromanage, or we let God recreate us in His image. And I think a lot of people are deconstructing their faith these days because their God isn't big enough to withstand a college science class or a disappointment in their own life. And what I would argue is that, man, let's blow up those little boxes. G.K. Chesterton said how much happier you would be, how much more of you there would be if the hammer of a higher God could smash your small cosmos. And so the book is really an invitation to rediscover this God who is bigger than big.
You know, sometimes we ask for a miracle and it doesn't happen, and that can shake our faith. Do you have advice for someone who is struggling with trusting God after not getting the miracle that they prayed for?
Yeah, the truth is, on this side of the space-time continuum, I think we're never going to get all of the answers. And you know, I could approach that in a couple of different ways because I've experienced disappointment. There are prayers that God has not answered in my life. And I have what I call a Deuteronomy 29:29 file. And it says that the revealed things belong to us, the secret things belong to God. So I think sometimes you just have to file some things away that, hey, not everything is going to make sense to a very finite mind, and I'm a data point of one like everybody else. I'm just not going to be able to figure everything out. That's not the answer we want, but that is the reality of the world that we live in. We're not going to understand why everything happens. In the same breath, I would also say, you know, I think it's learning to appreciate everyday miracles. That's at the heart of this book. I've experienced the miracles that defy laws of nature, defy laws of logic, defy a doctor's diagnosis. I mean, I had severe asthma for 40 years. I don't anymore after praying a bold prayer July 2nd, 2016. God healed my lungs. I haven't touched an inhaler from that day to this day. It's mind-boggling to me. And so I've experienced those kinds of miracles. But God hasn't answered those prayers every single time. What I try to do is hold on to the fact that He's able. In fact, He's able to do immeasurably more than all we can ask or imagine according to His power that's at work within us. But I also have an 82-year-old spiritual father who reminds me, hey, every healing miracle is still temporary. Like even Lazarus raised from the dead. Well, he died a second time. And that's where I think without putting eternity into the equation, I think things don't add up. And so we don't believe in happily ever after. We believe in something bigger and better, happily forever after. And so that has to be a part of our multivariable calculus, so to speak.
How does being aware of these million little miracles around us change our daily walk with God?
Yeah. Well, we don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. And so our focus determines our reality. You know, if we're looking for something to complain about, we'll always find it. If we're looking for something to be grateful for, we'll always find it. So I don't think gratitude is getting what you want. It's appreciating what you have. And I think that starts right here, right now. I mean, every single breath is a miracle. Every heartbeat, miracle. I think when you begin to recognize that every good and perfect gift comes from above, from the Father of heavenly lights, you shift from taking things for granted to taking things for gratitude. And whatever we don't turn into praise turns into pride. So I think, one practical piece of advice is my wife and I, we keep a gratitude journal, and every Sabbath we share those gratitudes with each other. And that has made all the difference in the world, especially after walking through 2 bouts with cancer over the last couple of years with my wife. And she's on the other side and cancer free and in a good place. But I tell you what, that gratitude journal kept us on our feet and kept us even joyful during seasons where we were wrestling and struggling, some questions that were tough to answer. But gratitude, I think, at the end of the day, is just such an important thing. And I want to cultivate that gratitude in it. And for me, a gratitude journal really is a spiritual discipline.
I'd love to know, what is something that you really want young believers to grasp right now?
Wow. Well, I think for young believers that are maybe on the front end of a spiritual journey, I'm a believer in long obedience in the same direction. That don't despise the day of small beginnings. If you do little things like they're big things, God has a way of doing big things like they're little things. But I think you have to enjoy the journey. Don't fall into that win-then trap. Like, when I graduate college, or when I get a job, when I get the promotion, when I get married, when we have kids, when I retire, like, you're going to be playing that game until the day you die. The grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener over the septic tank. So what you have to do is just be faithful with whatever God has put in your life at this moment. I know people who say, I'll give more when I make more. Love you, but I'm not buying what you're selling. I think it's about being faithful right here, right now. And so just a word of encouragement. The good news is you overestimate what you can do in a day or week or month or year, but you underestimate what God can do in 10 or 20. There are decades when nothing happens, but there are days when decades happen. And I think it's those days that we just trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey.
That was Mark Batterson. Make sure to check out his new book, A Million Little Miracles, which is available now. All right, up next after this break, we've got Would You Rather Christmas Edition. Well, today's podcast is brought to you in part by the new book, Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic. Author Jonathan Seidel knows firsthand how even believers can get stuck in shame and destructive habits, especially when it comes to one of society's biggest obsessions, alcohol. In Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic, he details his spiral into disordered drinking and shares the 4-step process he eventually used to break free. There's hope for alcoholics who become Christians and for Christians who become alcoholics. Find Confessions of a Christian Alcoholic wherever books are sold. What if you could change a child's life with just $10? Right now, thousands of vulnerable children in East Africa are suffering from jiggers. It's a painful, preventable parasite that burrows into their feet. Soul Hope is the only organization treating it through foot washing, medical care, and durable closed-toed shoes that protect kids long after treatment. $10 may not seem like much in today's world, but when we come together, those small gifts add up to big change. Join the 10 for 10 campaign. $10 protects 10 small toes. Visit soulhope.org/10 to give now. One small gift makes a big difference. Again, that's soulhope, SOLE, hope.org/TEN. Okay, it's time for
Would You Rather Christmas Edition.
just going to toss a couple would you rathers at you guys. Here we go. Emily, would you rather drink hot cocoa or eggnog?
Hot cocoa for sure.
I never had eggnog until like a few years ago.
Too
I
eggy.
tried it for the first time.
I love a good eggnog.
Okay, Jesse, are you white lights or colored lights on your tree person?
I like the big retro color ones, but usually we compromise and go white.
The compromise
So
is
that's
doing
not a compromise?
not at all. That's not a compromise.
The compromise is I'll help put lights on, but I do have like a Cameron. I got a little tiki bar out back it was a repurposed gazebo. I'll put the big colorful ones out there.
There you go. Yeah, that makes sense. Emily, would you rather watch Home Alone or Elf?
I think Home Alone.
Yes, that's the right choice.
It's tough, but it's got to be Home Alone.
Yeah, I think so too.
We watched Home Alone the other night. There's a lot of good movies out. A lot of good Christmas movies.
Yeah.
I've been watching the Netflix Christmas ones, and I do think I need
Did
to.
you watch Hot Frosty?
Yeah, of course I did. Day it came out. It was as terrible as I wanted it to be.
Christmas with the Cranks and
No, yeah, I need like a palate cleanser. I love the holiday. Yeah. I need one of those. Yeah,
I've already watched 4 Christmases and
classic
and Christmas Vacation. The 4 Christmases church scene, like there's a lot of problems with it. As a churchgoer, like they're not going to replace Mary and Joseph last minute like that and improv the lines, but it is one of the funniest movies in any Christmas scene where Vince Vaughn is like, unfit mother, swaddle that baby. And he's, dude, that scene alone is worth watching that movie again. I'm a big 4 Christmases guy just for the Christmas pageant scene. It makes me laugh every time when he
Vince Vaughn is underrated, so I agree with that.
When he gets super into playing Joseph and just starts owning the pageant, it is a delight.
Jesse, would you rather go to a holiday work party or stay in to watch a Christmas movie?
Oh, I'm always down for a good holiday work party. They're always a good time.
Emily, would you rather give everyone handmade gifts or receive only gift cards?
Receive only gift cards. I do not love everyone. I do not feel like making handmade gifts for everyone. No offense.
Jesse, would you rather receive a thoughtful gift or an expensive gift?
An expensively thoughtful gift. I guess it depends on who's it from, Like if it's my kid, I'd take thoughtful. If it's from an uncle or something, let's go expensive.
Well, yeah, because if your kid gets you an expensive gift, that means you bought it yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Emily, would you rather spend Christmas Eve with your immediate family or a group of friends?
Tough. I'll go immediate family.
You're just saying that because they're listening.
No, I'm saying it because right now, my nieces and nephew are really fun to watch at Christmas because they are just really chaotic and exciting. When they're older, I might pick my friends, no offense, but for now, I'll choose them.
Okay, Jesse, would you rather be stuck singing Frosty the Snowman every time you speak or accidentally yell ho 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 when you laugh?
Ho, ho, ho. Because I think people would find that kind of charming, you know?
That you laugh by saying ho ho ho.
I mean,
It's a little weird in July, but yeah.
But it's also jolly. It is jolly.
Yeah, you'd have to gain a lot of weight to pull that off. All right, so Emily, would you rather have a gingerbread house that constantly attracts hungry animals or a snow globe that's always being shaken? What?
I mean, the snow globe that's always being shaken sounds kind of cool.
I know. It's just like always going. It's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, and I don't really want a bunch of like woodland creatures in my apartment, so I'm going to go with the snow globe.
Yeah.
Jesse, last one. Would you rather have Rudolph's glowing red nose or be followed everywhere by a chorus of singing elves?
Does that mean I get to possess the nose, I
think you have the nose on your face.
Your nose is red.
Or a procession of singers?
Of elves.
Followed everywhere by a chorus of singing elves.
Oh, definitely the elves. That's pretty impressive. You know, you walk around, you got literal elves singing behind you. Who's not going to think that's pretty cool?
I think a lot of people.
I think it would look a little problematic that a middle-aged man is being followed by singing small people.
You know what else would be problematic? Having a shining red anatomical nose. I think that's pretty concerning, too.
I think so, too. But you have concealer and stuff that you can put on it. Or prosthetic.
Like that, what was that movie back in the day where the guy had the gold nose? Wasn't that...
Goldface.
No, there was a movie back in the day.
That's Threat Level Midnight.
I know.
No, it was with Dan. This is such a deep cut. And for some reason, it had a run on like Comedy Central when I was like 9. And when we didn't really have a lot of like, you know, like that's just what you did is just watch whatever's on TV, you know? Hold on. I'm going to find this movie. This is very important. And this is why people tune in.
To hear you research online.
I mean, I ended up watching the second half of Talladega Nights the other night because of exactly what you're talking about. I was just scrolling around the live channels and saw Talladega Nights. And I was like, oh, I'll jump in. And ended up watching the rest of it.
I think there was a rapper named Shock G who would occasionally wear a fake gold nose. And I think he was in
Digital Underground. It wasn't a fake. It was the comic nose, like the Groucho Marx glasses and nose. Shock G was then Humpty Hump, the Humpty Dance, Digital Underground. It was his persona.
Oh, well, maybe I'm conflating it with but Shock G had the big gold nose. So you're suggesting, forget the Dan Aykroyd thing. I think I'm thinking conflating something in that movie. But either way, I would have to walk around with a big fake Shock G nose.
Yes, red, Rudolph version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the movie was called Nothing But Trouble. It came out in 91.
What Shock G wasn't in that, was he?
Shock G, yeah. He appeared in the 91 comedy Nothing But Trouble as both Shock G and his alter ego Humpty Hump, which is where he wears the fake nose.
Hey, that's pretty good. I was 8 when that came out. So look at that, guys.
And had a life memory.
Your parents had
a life well spent. I can remember random Shock G references in a movie no one saw. It was apparently big in my house for about a 3-month stint. So much so that it nested itself in my memory, only to come out, 30 years later.
Okay, well, that'll do it for Would You Rather Christmas Edition.
Would you rather Christmas edition?
Many thanks to Mark Batterson for joining us. Make sure to check out his new book, A Million Little Miracles, which is available now. Also, make sure to check out relevantmagazine.com every day. We're covering the intersection of faith, culture, and everything in between. Follow us on all the socials and get our newsletter of our top trending stories each weekday morning. Stay in the loop. All right, on that note, we'll wrap it. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Gary.
I'm Emily Brown.
We'll see you on Friday. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine, A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
He's a best-selling author of over 20 books, including The Circle Maker, Win the Day, and his most recent one, A Million Little Miracles. Oh, that was my nickname. I'm sorry, let me take that out. A Million Little Miracles. That's my youth group name. Sorry.
Dumb.
Mark spoke with us about recapturing our wonder and awe.
That was the name of my ant farm as a kid. Little Million Miracles Farms, and it was a lot of ants in there. That's what I called them. I couldn't name them all, so I just gave the little farm.
A Million Little Miracles.
I will sign Little Million Miracles Farms.
Lil Mill.
Yeah.
All right. Mark spoke to us about recapturing our wonder. Sorry, I got to change my voice.
Yeah, you can't just jump back
Okay,
in.
hold on.
Those Little Million Miracles got knocked over one day and had to vacuum them up. We got dust busted, but you know the risk when you get a big old ant farm.
We all know.
There's no cleaning up that mess.
Most recent book, A Million Little Miracles.
There's no sadder sound than the sound of all those ants hitting that filter. And you know when it's the queen because it's a big pop. But you can't clean up a busted ant farm inside.
So stupid.
What are you supposed to do?
A Million Little Miracles just vacuum right on
Little
that.
Million Miracles turn into one big accident. One big tragedy.
Okay. That was Mark Batterson. Make sure to check out his new book, A Million Little Miracles.
Oh, we cannot laugh.
Okay, here we go. That was Mark Batterson. Make sure to check out his new book, A Million. Sorry. All right, this is the one.
You think he'll be mad?
Relevant Podcast Network.